And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher with you as he does every Wednesday, joining us. And we are live from the Athletic Studios, and everything's brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. If you're in the market for a brand new, spanking new Toyota truck, car, SUV, some used vehicles, make sure you visit our good friends, Tino and the crew out there at Toyota of Warren. They will hook you up. You can check out the official YSN Tundra driving around all over the place. It'll be in Canfield at Coca's Pizza tonight, 7 o'clock, for the Canfield Cardinals show with Mike Pavlansky and a couple players. So we're excited for that as always. The Camel Memorial Show tonight as well at Tavern 26. Steve Leslie will be hosting that party. And Scotty, it's a party in here, man. It's always a party when you are here, my friend. What's new? What's exciting?
Well, first off, DJ, I just wanted to say all these great, car sponsorships and stuff like that. I just wanted to say, that's something I haven't totally rolled out. I'd have to get adaptive controls. Like it's like a joystick thing. Yeah. But I know you probably steer clear of me, but
the way you drive that thing around, Scotty, there's not a chance I'd be on the same roadway as you.
Just a thought, but no, man, I'm doing good, really good. And I don't think I'm ever gonna get sick of this studio, man.
Isn't it nice?
I love it.
It's awesome. The box here at Athletics, we love it here. You see athletes literally all day just coming through, asking about, hey, when am I getting on? When am I getting on YSN? In due time? In due time. I mean, you were busy as a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest today, Scotty. You're on Running Point today, live from here in the Athletic Studios. Maddie Zines, congratulations to her, announcing her commitment to Youngstown State University to join the women's golf team. That was breaking news. Anthony had that on Running Point. Brian Tolnar joined Running Point as well to give his 2 cents. And we love Brian Tolnar. Like, that guy he's so good for the game of golf, and he's so good for this area. And when you combine the two and how much he appreciates and loves what we do here at YSN, that's the mega powers. You dig it. Can you dig it, Scotty? It's mega powers. That's a terrible impression. That's awful. I apologize to everybody about that.
Not I'd probably give that a 5
out of like 100.
Out of 10.
It was bad. I had it going the other day on Friday. I had the Macho Man going because my good buddy Andy Hake, that's his new thing, the Macho Man. He does the Macho Man voice. So word on the street is Coach Hake is going to join us later this week and be the Macho Man. Andy, the Macho Man Hake, will come on and talk about the Valley Christian Eagles because they are on fire right now, Scotty. A big win over Crestview, as we talked about all this week. They've got a great running back, Jay Sean Lindsay, up for the Big Dogs of the Valley Award. Just great stuff going on with the Eagles. And we got to get Andy on because, number one, he is entertaining as all get out. And number two, he shoots it straight. So love having him on YSN. And I know he's a big fan. So you and Andy would hit it off, I think.
I would hope so. I think I've heard a lot of good about him. I heard you guys talking on the last week's the first Super Friday show of the high school football season, and you were talking about your expectations and everyone very high on Valley Christian this year and off to a great start. You always want to start 1-0.
Can't ask for anything better, right? 1-0. Today we got a great topic that you were telling me about. Why don't you tell everybody what we're going to be discussing today, big fella?
Yeah, sure. So I wanted to discuss today. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. Last week we talked a lot of football, mostly football, and this week because we're such baseball fans, and I'm kind of, I have those mixed emotions, DJ, because like I love that football is here, but I'm also sad to see like baseball winding down.
Mhm.
And it was just something I've been thinking about watching games recently. I noticed that a lot of these teams, a lot of the really good teams now, they'll have their best hitters hitting right at the top of their order. And it's really like for the first time, and definitely, I think, in our lifetimes, and maybe going back throughout baseball history, it's been around so long since the 1800s, but it's one of those things where like I really never thought we'd see the day you think of your best hitters and you think about them hitting in the 3, 4, or 5 hole. So basically, going on off that, I wanted to talk about: um, do you think this has or will eventually have a trickle down effect even to the high school level? And then also, what are some maybe things that could become trends or are becoming trends in sports that you think are kind of going to be here to stay?
Yeah. So to answer your question, the first time I saw a really good power hitter, or just in general, a really good hitter that wasn't a traditional leadoff hitter, which, when I was growing up, a traditional leadoff hitter was Kenny Lofton, right? He is the guy, he can lay down a bunt, he can hit for, gap to gap, and he can stretch a single into the double, which gives you an opportunity to score runs very quickly. Having somebody like that on base. But to my it really it's kind of weird. It started with softball, like men's, like beer league softball, where you see a lot of the better hitters batting first, right? Because in softball, you may or may not know there's home run restrictions. So like some leagues, you can't hit a home run. It's an out, which is kind of wild, right? And there's other leagues that you can have one, two, three, four, five unlimited home runs. Um, so you want a guy at the top of your lineup that gets on base. That's a producer. But to me, when I think what you're talking about is like the baseball side of things. If you got a guy on base, excuse me, if you get a guy on base, your just general and statistical probability of scoring go up by a huge percentage, because you got a guy that gets on first. You got no outs. You can advance the runner, get him on, get him over, get him in. That's the old saying, right? So there's a whole bunch of advantages to have your best hitter hit first, and also because the hitters have gotten better over time, that your 9 hitter isn't necessarily a liability anymore, especially with the DH. It's not a pitcher that has to bunt. It's not a liability. So you're seeing the advancement of baseball without people talking about it, and I'm glad that you kind of shine the light on this today, because it needs to be seen. It needs to be understood why you have Anthony Rizzo batting first, why you have some of these great hitters that are leading off. Don't be surprised at some point when you see Mike Trout in the 1 or 2 spot for the Angels or for whatever team he'd be playing for at that time. Because again, if he stays healthy, he still is one of the best hitters in the league.
Yeah, he is, and to me, it's still crazy. And I know Trout's been hurt a lot. It's
Mhm.
his first action back just recently in at least 2 months, maybe three. But to me, it's pretty crazy that the Angels have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, yet it's still been so many years. I think Trout only made the playoffs once, and that was very early in his career, like 2014. But I do like. watching the Guardians play the Dodgers last night and seeing Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman right at the top of the Dodgers order. Now somehow the Guardians beat them last night, but I I think, like you said, with the DH being universal now in both leagues, there's really not like, obviously there's weaker portions of the lineup. The Guardians are the exception because they have the least number of home runs in baseball by far. They just don't have much power at all. But I like how you brought up Kenny Lofton though from the '90s because we were both kids in the '90s. We remember that era, and it just when like you think of that guy like leading off, but like fast forwarding to now, like somebody like a Kenny Lofton, he'd probably be better served in today's game, like in the 7, 8, or 9 hole
Right.
at the bottom of the order, get some speed, and then have your best guys at the top ready to mash. Um, and we kind of saw this with we've seen it with starting pitchers too, where the starting pitchers aren't really, at least in the major leagues, they're not as quite important anymore. They don't go as long during the games. You'll see a lot of bullpen games now, and guys really being stretched out for multiple innings. But I just wanted to know, um, DJ, like, do you think this is something that's like we've seen with the pitching in baseball? Do you think ultimately like this is good for the game? Because I think it's great for the game. And my personal opinion, I think baseball right now is better than it's ever been. But what do you
Really?
think
No,
about
well, expand on that because you always make me go first. Expand on why you think this makes baseball better than it's ever been. And I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I want to hear your thoughts.
it? Well, I think this is part of it, but I just really like the I didn't think I was, or I wasn't sure. I don't want to say I was, I thought I wouldn't like it. I guess I was more like on the fence. I didn't know how to take the recent rule changes throughout the years and the things they've instituted to like speed up the game and things of that nature, and just the universal DH and the pitch clock, because for the longest time I loved the strategy. I felt like there was more strategy in the NL with the pitchers batting and the double switches, but um, it's one of those things where with your best players hitting at the top now, and even baseball, when you can have solid starting pitching, but you don't necessarily have to rely on a guy going 7, 8 innings or a complete game. I just think, to me, having your superstars and giving them a chance to shine early, but then kind of incorporating somebody else into the game that's maybe not as well known. I just think it adds to the strategy again, and it's made it more of a chess match. I think you really start gotta you have to thinking more about how you want to fill out the rest of the lineup when you put the guys, your best hitters, at the top of the order, I just think you're going down with you're going with your best bullets early. You're
Yeah.
not leaving anything in the chamber, and I just think having those igniters, and they're not guys we've seen in the past because they're not like a Kenny Lofton. Kenny Lofton was a great leadoff hitter for his time, but he didn't have the power. These guys,
Yeah.
they have the speed, but they have the power too. They could drive it out of the yard. So I guess that's what it's just more exciting now. I guess because of this faster pace, but the guys at the top of the order, I don't think it hurts it. But um, were you gonna where are you at when it comes to that?
So there are a lot of aspects of the game that I really like that are new, and there's some that I'm not crazy about. Do you remember? Was it last year, or a couple years ago, that teams like Tampa Bay tried to have openers? Like they'd have a guy come in and just start pitch an inning, right? And almost have like the reverse role. So you'd have a guy start the game, pitch an inning, then you'd have what is typically the setup man, right, in the eighth inning, but they'd be in the second inning. Then you'd have your starter come in technically and go long relief from innings 3 to innings 8, and then you get your setup and your closer. So how you doing? It's one of those things where I never like that because I still like when a starter can go 7 innings strong and save the bullpen. And I also like when a starter can't go long and they're out in an inning. And what is the manager going to do to earn his paycheck? So that way he doesn't absolutely decimate his bullpen for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So I wasn't a crazy fan of that, but I do like the new rules where with the separation rules where you if you throw over 3 times, the guy gets the base. You can't throw over what is it? You can't throw over fourth, or you can't throw over third. I can't remember which one it is.
I think third.
Third. So like to me, that's it sounded like a silly rule, and I didn't like it, but I love the fact that stolen bases are part of baseball again. I think it's engaging. I think it's got fans excited. I think there's more strategy in it. Speaking of engagements, I don't like necessarily the engagement versus disengagement like out of the box. I think as players will always do and coaches will always do, they manipulate it. So like every player gets 1 timeout per at bat, and it's always like with 2 strikes. So the same thing that we saw in football for the longest time, icing the kicker, is just to me just stupid. It's silly. Like what are you doing? It doesn't matter anymore. They train for that. You prepare for that, and it doesn't hold any water, at least in my purview anymore. When you ice the kicker, and it's the same thing when you try to ice the pitcher. When you take a timeout, when you have 2 strikes against you, it doesn't make a whole lot of reliable sense to me. So,
and if you really wanted to, you could even say, I mean, I don't think it holds much water either, but you could say, like, if you really wanted to, you could make an argument that it helps a kicker or a pitcher because it gives them a second to just kind of
breathe.
to breathe. Yeah, it gives them a breather,
And a
a
lot of
chance
the
to
pitch clocks,
reset.
the pitch clock's in there to get the pitcher to get out of their rhythm, right? And that's what baseball is. Baseball is a battle of rhythms, and it's a hitter's job to knock the pitcher out of rhythm. It's a pitcher's job to knock the hitter out of rhythm, per se. So, for me, when I see this, it's interesting, right? And it's always going to be gamed up and stuff like that. But for me, it's just sometimes it's too much, and I think sometimes, especially the powers that be, I do like. Excuse me. I do like that they're able to test things out in the minor leagues, where football and the NBA typically just bring it straight up, rule changes to their actual leagues. baseball is able to test in the minor leagues and then ultimately make an informed decision on, hey, was it well received? Do we got to tweak it? What do we have to do here? So, hey, breaking news. I just got a text message from the Crestview athletic director, Ms. Laura Nappy, and she says Crestview versus Springfield girls soccer game is postponed to tomorrow at Crestview, 5 p.m. So we'll get that on the ticker here, Scotty, as we turn the page on at least that particular topic. What else you got in baseball that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I wanted to get your thoughts because it's always better when you're friends with somebody and they're fans of, and it doesn't always have to be a rival team like we talked quite a bit Brown Steelers last week, but even if it's just a different team that's not necessarily a rival, because it's always you always want to see that different point of view, and like people try to nowadays they try to act like they're objective in so many ways, and they're not gonna have a take on things because of this or that, or they do it in a way where they kind of overly have a bias or something. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the future of the guards and the Pirates going forward. But before that, real quickly before that, I just wanted to know, because you talked about some of we've talked about the new rules for a while now, and I really like the extra innings rule now with the runner.
Look at this. Do you know who we got here?
Second, but
he's interrupted you. Look at this guy.
How we doing?
Get in
How
here.
are you?
Come on over here.
Oh, I got practice.
How
Doing great. I got practice.
Get
How
on
you
the
doing,
turn.
man? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay.
What a game.
Oh, well, yeah.
Dogfight.
Yeah, we play, our kids play their tail off. Can't ask for more than that. Can't ask for more than that. They're better than us. Yeah, they are. They're 3 touchdowns better than us. But we just played our tail off. No.
I love it.
Okay.
Coach, good luck Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate well. Have a good practice. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Coach Bob Spate making an appearance, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, how ironic, because I was just telling Anthony on Running Point, you had to tend to other matters, DJ, but a couple. He brought up, or I might have been the one to bring up teams that had a tough loss week number 1, but we talked about teams that I think they're gonna be okay, and Columbiana was one of them for me. I know they couldn't go into that lead, but they, as coach just said, they played really, really hard. They give that effort every game. I think they're gonna be okay, and that was man, what a finish in that game.
That was unbelievable. And listen, he's going to sit here and tell you they're 3 touchdowns better, but I think Columbiana is going to be really good this year from a standpoint of being competitive. And as long as they're competitive, Coach Spate and his crew, they're going to allow this team to find some dubs along the way, which last year, as we know, it was tough for them. It took a while for them to get that 200th win for Coach Spate, and I'm excited to see them come through. It must be pouring outside because we saw the Crestview and Springfield game get canceled. We don't have that vantage point anymore like we did in EP, where we can just look right out those giant windows. We're gonna have to go and check out what's going on, Scott.
Yeah, I have heard some thunder. Yeah, so it must be pretty.
I just thought you had Taco Bell.
Not yet, but man, Taco Bell. I love it. It doesn't love me though.
It doesn't love anybody.
Love me back.
It doesn't love anybody anytime. My brother-in-law can attest to that. We have stories to go with that. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We're going to talk about the Guardians and the Pirates, as you talked about, after a nice visit from Coach Spader, a surprise visit from Spader. Back after this on the Ysn Power Hour, proudly brought to you by our friends over at Toyota Warren.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
Apparently, it is the last commercial, Scotty. Back here on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher with you for the next 30 minutes or so. Scotty, we talked about a little bit, rule changes and things that in major leagues, the stuff that we liked. Now you've dipped into the Guardians versus Pirates, and I know why, because before we went on the show, you looked over to me with this wry smile, and you said, DJ, I don't think you're going to believe me, but I think your Pirates are going to be in better shape than my Guardians.
Yeah, I did say this. I love some of the potential of their pitching.
You know what potential is.
But there's a lot wrapped up. I love the potential of Baker Mayfield too.
You did.
We see how that worked out.
He's gonna be a great quarterback in Tampa.
You think so?
I do. We've talked about this. I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah. He has and he's coming off the second year after an injury, so he should. They always say the second year you're better after a serious injury, so. We'll see. That division wasn't much to write home about last year, so they should be right in the thick of it again.
Let me ask you this question about the Guardians before we get started on this conversation, because I think this is a tone setter. What do you like about the Guardians right now?
The only I have no faith as far as their everyday one through the batting order. Absolutely no faith in that going forward. That they even have enough of the right guys in place, or they're gonna go out and sign the right guys. Other than Jose Ramirez, who, let's face it, he's still a really good player, but he's definitely regressed, uh, at least in my view, the last couple years. Still a really good player, but he's regressed. Other than Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor, who's hurt right now, and I worry about him because he plays it. He's a hefty dude. Like, I worry about like the abdominal being problems going forward. But other than that, I have no faith in their lineup. The only thing I do like is the pitching, but it's one of those things, DJ, where it's just, I feel like they're stuck because yes, their pitching could be really, really good, and people always say pitching's the name of the game, and I think you even said you'd rather have the stud pitter, uh, pitchers over the mashers, the juggernaut lineup if you could only pick one. But my fear is the Guardians' offense is so weak that it's not going to matter how good their pitching is. I still think you have to have guys that could go out and knock the ball out of the yard and strike fear in the opposing pitchers and could take you deep. And the Guardians just do not have that whatsoever. And the reason why I said that to you, DJ, I know I said it like kind of, you might have thought it was sarcastically, but not only do I think the Pirates, their pitching could be just as good as the Guardians in another year or two, but I think the potential of their everyday players, I feel like their ceiling is higher than the Guardians players.
Yeah, I think the Guardians' floor is higher. I think the Pirates' ceiling is higher, if that makes sense to you. So I really like what the Pirates are doing. I'm a huge Ben Cherington fan. I think he's turned this entire organization around. It's taken a couple of years, but that's what in baseball, it does take a couple of years. It's not like football where the guys you draft are going to be there the next year. Although Paul Skeens looking like he's going to be that guy, the number 1 overall draft pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates this year out of LSU. This guy is, I think, not. You've got Shohei Ohtani, who does it obviously every 5 days on the mound, and he does it every other day at the dish. The modern day Babe Ruth. I think Paul Skeens is going to be a revolutionary player, a just one of those players that only comes around once every generation. And the Pirates got him. There was a lot of, hey, they should draft the center fielder. Hey, they should draft this guy or that guy. The Pirates made the right move. They needed a number 1. They needed a guy that is going to go out every 5 days and borderline guarantee you a victory. And he's already in Double-A. He got promoted yesterday to be playing for the Altoona Curve. So you look at this, what the Pirates have is they've built all the way through their system. So they've got heavy hitters. Sigler and I argue all the time. The Pirates, for some reason, will never draft or go out and get a first baseman, like someone that can actually mash. However, Scotty, I think to your dismay, I can see Josh Bell heading back to Pittsburgh next year.
Well, I haven't looked at. I didn't get a chance to look yesterday, but when I looked a few days ago, Josh Bell, he was atrocious this year with the Guardians, but since he's been in Miami, he's teared the cover off the ball.
He's absolutely unstoppable right now. But they've got some great coaches down there that that are going to make a huge difference. But watch Josh Bell end up back in Pittsburgh. You don't want that noise to have Josh Bell and, Key Brian Hayes and O'Neal Cruz and Nick Gonzalez. I mean, you're talking about guys that are first-round draft picks across the board.
And I do think if there was mutual interest, I think Josh Bell was going back to Pittsburgh because his wife is my dad knows her. He works with their mom. They're from this area.
Oh, really?
She's from Poland.
Oh, wow.
So one of the reasons he picked Cleveland in the offseason because of it being close in the location. So
I'd be okay with that.
I could definitely see him going back to.
I'll have to go find Joe. I gave him all my Josh Bell gear. I'm gonna have to find Joe and get it back. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, the Pirates could be dangerous, and that window that they always talk about in baseball is starting to open in Pittsburgh, and it's Andrew McCutchen. Hopefully, he stays. One of my favorite players of all time. Hopefully, he stays and can help, develop and lead this team, because I think it's going to be a winner, and nobody deserves to be a part of that more than Kutch moving forward. But I really do like the trajectory of the Pirates. I like Mitch Keller. I like Quinn Priester. I like some of the guys that they have in their farm system. They still have one of the number one farm systems in the league, and they've got the majority of their guys are up. So what's that tell you? They're just going to keep reloading, and if they don't want to reload, they can move their pieces for some big names, hopefully.
Yeah, and
Shohei Ohtani, let's get him.
You
imagine?
Oh my God.
We don't do anything, and all of a sudden we pay $700 million to Shohei Ohtani.
Oh my God, that would be like as much as I loathe Pittsburgh sports, and I loathe it. I pull no punches about that. But if a market size like the Pirates went out and did something like that, it would give it would make me feel. I would feel good about it. I'd almost.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be miserable because it wouldn't be Cleveland. And I'd be in here doing a dance.
See, I feel like I would. I'm just over.
Careful what you say, because I'm waiting here.
I'm over all the big stars always going to New York or LA or Boston.
Tag me in, Scotty. Come on.
Yeah.
If the Steelers win the Super Bowl this year, are you going to be happy for Pittsburgh because it's a small market team?
But that's apples and oranges, though.
But you'll be happy for the Pirates and the Penguins, just not the Steelers.
There's not as much of that bad blood, that animosity.
There it is. Let's face it. The Pirates are the Browns of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's like DJ, and I know you've said in recent years you flipped on this because of Browns fans or maybe Browns players too. But for a while you almost, I don't want to say you rooted for the Browns, but you kind of liked it, like you didn't have an issue with them. And I guarantee you a huge part of that is because the Steelers have always been the big brother and beat the crap out of the Browns.
So this is going to come as a surprise to you.
How can you hate a team?
This is going to come as a surprise.
Loses
to you. If the Browns aren't playing Pittsburgh, I don't necessarily root against them. I'm interested, right? Deshaun Watson, I'm not crazy about that, right? But I'll be the first to tell you when
you mean on the field or
I wasn't crazy about that move. After years of the finger pointing back at Pittsburgh about Ben Roethlisberger, and then you go and do that, I was like, oh, this is going to be real interesting to hear all the crow being scarfed down at this point. But Baker Mayfield, I made no qualms about it. I am a Baker Mayfield fan. I am.
Yeah, you're
I like Nick
and
Chubb.
I was too. I died on that Baker Hill.
I like Nick Chubb. I do not like
Myles
Garrett. I don't. I think that he is egotistical. I think that he was a big part of what happened in Cleveland and the disbanding of Jarvis Landry and OBJ and Baker Mayfield. I think that he wants to be the guy, and he's just not. He just doesn't have that marketability.
He's not. It's almost like he's like too nice or something. Like
No, he's not. He shows up to games wearing jackets with quarterbacks' names on them, and in his yard in Cleveland, he puts a tombstone for every quarterback in the league. Like he tries too hard. You know, he's not funny, I guess, is the thing. Like when you talk Deion Sanders, Deion was funny to everybody, right? Did he have an ego? Does he have an ego? Absolutely. But he was funny. Like Draymond Green, hilarious. I think he's hilarious. Dennis Rodman, hilarious. But I think he wants to be being Myles Garrett. Thank you. I can't remember his name. That's also a problem. Garrett wants to be that guy, but he doesn't have the marketability to do it. So he's got to go out and get like stupid costumes and stuff to wear. Like you're not James Laurinaitis. You're not Macho Man Randy Savage. Like you don't have that charisma. Like if you go out and you're just sacking dudes, cool. That's what J.J. Watt did. And J.J. Watt, people fell in love with him for what he did off the field, not wearing stupid jackets about, how many quarterbacks you've sacked along the way and calling Big Ben Roethlisberger out on draft night. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the guy. Just never have. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I like him because he's on the. My dad hasn't liked him at all. He probably even thinks I'm a Myles Garrett apologist.
Do you think he's as good as T.J. Watt?
No, I don't think he's as good as T.J. Watt, but I do think he is good. I don't think he's a bum either.
Do you think he's as good as Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald now, he's probably, I would say he's close.
To Aaron Donald?
I think he's close.
Do you think he's better than J.J. Watt was?
J.J. Watt in his prime, no,
Okay.
but I think he's close.
Really?
I think Myles is really, really good. I don't think he's like, this kind of ties into our conversation we had last week. Like, I think Myles is a really, really good player. I don't think he's great. There's a big difference in me. To me, T.J. Watt, great. Myles Garrett, really good. That's the difference.
I like that.
But I don't think, like, the people that say, like, Myles Garrett is a bum and this and that,
He's
like,
not a bum.
I don't agree with that.
No, he's not a
either.
bum. I don't like that he's only on the field like 50% of the snaps. I think that's a little bit ridiculous for as much as he's getting paid and talks about being the guy. Like, imagine if Baker Mayfield was only on, like, when the Browns were good, if Baker Mayfield was only on for first and second downs, and then you brought in a quarterback for third down and punted on fourth down. Like, to me, it's just a little silly.
Yeah, especially when, like, there hasn't been anyone else that has come close to putting up his production. So the Browns need him on the field every day since he's been drafted. Like, and this is not taking away anything from T.J. Watt. Like, I think he'd be great under any circumstance, but he's also had, and maybe it's because he's so good. I don't know. And Myles isn't quite on that level. So that could be it too. But he's had Cam Hayward have monster seasons under him. Even Bud Dupree got a huge payday because of TJ Watt. Myles Garrett, he hasn't really done that for everybody else. So I wonder, is it a thing where they just haven't put the right Robin around him, the right second guy, or is he just not on that elite level? That's something I question.
All right, since this is we're not betting on high school, obviously, but over under 2 sacks from Myles Garrett against the Steelers.
Oh, I'm going over.
Over?
Yeah.
So you're gonna go 3 or above.
Because I know you don't want me to go push, so I got to go over.
Okay, 1.5.
Definitely over.
2.5.
Over.
3.5.
I said it at 3.
Okay.
I don't think he goes above 3.
Okay. I'm going under.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have a really challenging time with some, and specifically the Steelers, because they brought in Broderick Jones and Washington as the tight ends, and Myles is going to have a little bit of a challenge over there trying to get through this year. So we'll see how it goes. I could be way off base here, but
yeah,
I'm hitting the under, and I should be getting some juice.
That I think Zadarius Smith, he had 10 sacks. 10 sacks last year. He was pretty much the heartbeat of the Vikings' atrocious defense. With him there, with Myles now, I think Myles is gonna eat. I think he at least gets 3. But
okay,
we could agree to disagree.
A sack and a half a game against the Steelers. But just for a reminder, PSA for everybody at home, Scotty's got 2 years left for the Browns to win the Super Bowl.
Well, if you count this year,
3 seasons, 2
3
years.
Yeah.
3 seasons, 2 years. So
clock is ticking.
Oh, she's ticking.
This is a big year.
It sounds like it's like one of those Saturday Night Live McGruber. Like it's gonna blow up in your face, dude. And don't worry, Dave. Don't worry, Super Dave. I'll find you too.
Yeah, because he was part of that.
Your $100 is coming out of that pocket this time as well, buddy. So we're all proud of you. We all miss you, Super Dave. So I know you're watching somewhere. Scotty, it's that time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything electrical, head on over to DickeyElectric.com. Just as an update, ladies and gentlemen, Crestview Springfield girls soccer postponed until tomorrow at 5 p.m. So if you're out there looking for the soccer game in the rain, you might want to pull up an umbrella or something until tomorrow about 5 o'clock. So, Scotty, what is your Joe Dickey Electric? What's your spark?
My spark, man, it's a easy one today, and I won't go into all the details, but just being here with you today, I mean, it's always good being here, even when we were in East Palestine. But today, man, you had me laughing so hard about our little some inside jokes we have and some stuff we were talking about. This was great medicine for me today. A lot of laughter. So that's my spark. You were killing me today, man. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to make it through the show.
You almost did until you started thinking about it again. My spark goes out to a young man named Cam Acquisto. Got to interview him last night for South Range. Broke his leg his freshman year as a running back. Then he came back, thought it was good. He played a little bit of two-hand touch with his friends on the football field. Heard a pop, lost him for his sophomore year. Then he got another injury his junior year. Now he's back his senior year, Scotty. He's hung up the cleats on the way of the running back position. Now he's a left guard. This kid, you have to go listen and watch this interview. Hearing him talk about overcoming adversity as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, and 17-year-old. I mean, it's incredible. It is incredible. And there's a lot more stories like that around this area. And I'm looking forward to uncovering each and every one of them, because I love when there's stories out there that aren't told, and are very kind of overcast, and being able to uncover those and showcase what great young characters we have in this area is that is my goal. That is my mission. So Cam Acquisto, we are all incredibly proud of you, man. Thank you so much for the time once again last night at Giangelo's in Boardman. All right, we have 2 shows for you tonight. The Camel Memorial Red Devil Show at Tavern 26 in Camel. And then, of course, we've got the Canfield Cardinals Show at Coca's Pizza in Canfield. So you have your choice. Head on out there. Say hi. Steve will be in Camel. I'll be in Canfield. Scotty will be on his way home with Brett, who's been walking around with a football for the last 3 hours. Let's take her home. Scotty, final thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, DJ, when you were talking about your interview with Cam, and I'm definitely gonna check it out. Doing a great thing. But one thing you said to me a while back, months ago, it really stuck. And we were talking about my therapy, and you said, there's gonna be those days when no one was watching, and what are you gonna do? It's about, like, what do you do when you're not necessarily like showing everyone, but you're still putting in that art. And I wanted to say, I don't even know him, but I know what it's like to have to go through some hurdles, especially when you haven't done something for a while. But the payoff is just super rewarding when you're able to do it. It makes it that much sweeter. So I'm really looking forward to that interview.
Scotty's going to be walking in through that door one day, and I'm going to be in tears, just bawling my eyes out. All right, Scotty, that's it for this week. Thanks again to Toyota of Warren. Thanks to you, Scooter, and thanks to Brett for making it in here today. We will be here tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the Ysn Power Hour, and it's all brought to you by Toyota of Warren. See you then.